Hi guys, welcome to Beyond the Box. I'm here with Logan today, and he
Hello.
is my sounding board because I'll just start out and say I was on another hike, and I seem to get epiphanies when I'm
We
on
all
a
know
hike.
what happens at this point. I think whenever
It's-
Meredith goes on hikes, we come back with all kind of...
You come back with a phone call, I'm like, Logan, I have this great idea.
oh my gosh.
So I don't know. I went on this hike, and I seemed to get, like I said, this epiphany where I was walking, there were trees, there was light, and I happened to look up, and I saw this awesome owl. And did you see my picture?
Of an owl?
Yeah.
You took a picture of the owl?
I took a picture of it.
Yeah, pull it up.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
And I was amazed. I was like, oh my God.
Owls are interesting signs
Mr.
in
Owl.
a lot of different ways.
I had to blow it up, but lighten it. But he just was looking at me. He was
How
just
big that damn owl. You could see it
He
from
was
that far away.
huge.
That camera's not super close to me. That's a gigantic owl.
Yeah, I mean, there's he was really like well fed. I mean, that's even from that far up.
Golly.
And just staring at me, and I was having a moment with him.
That's crazy.
Like, oh my God. He was slow blinking at me, and I was trying to like communicate with him.
Because you were saying you just kind of looked up.
I just looked at, I'm not going to lie, there were people ahead of me who had done this, and then they kept walking, and I was like, oh, what,
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw
So I
it.
didn't expect to see that, though.
I did not expect to see
Yeah,
an owl.
yeah.
It was mind-blowing, and I just stood there for, it had to have been like 10 minutes, and made sure no one was looking, and I was like, come on.
That's so funny.
See if I could have him, like I was like visualizing him landing on my hand, and then I was having a conversation, and I was like, stupid. And then I just stared at him. He was slow blinking, and it just was a moment where I was like, wow. And it started me thinking about, like owl wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just went on my walk, and then I thought, what is the meaning of life? Started to get real like deep with that.
Just a casual question for the
It
day.
was just casual. So, and then when I called you and said, we need to talk about what is your purpose? What is your purpose in life? What's the meaning in life? And, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't speak on this. I'm not, a Buddha or Dalai Lama or whatever. I just can't. But the more I dug into it, the more I was like, I can talk about this.
100% you can. 100% you can.
Because it's been for me like a lifelong thing, and I don't think that I'm unusual. I think everybody goes through it. You're trying to you get out of school, and you're trying to think, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing in this life? And what am I supposed to be doing in this life? And for years, that has haunted me, and it's just come to clarity right now that, finding your purpose is not like a destination at all.
No.
So it's, life is a journey. It is not a destination, and that's what I'm getting from this right now. I don't know. Did you?
No, I mean that makes.
Like when you started this, is this something that was your passion? You were like, this is what I'm meant to do, or did you stumble on this?
I definitely stumbled on this.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. Whenever, like people have sometimes like you danced a lot as a child, let's say. Like, let's say you didn't even do it competitively. Let's say you just, love to dance. And then later on you become a dancer. It's kind of like, oh, you can see it after the fact. Mm-hmm. So, I was, oddly, I would carry my phone around and film whenever I would hang out with my friends and stuff. And so when I look at it now, I'm like, oh, okay. But in general...
so as a kid, you did that?
Well, in high school in particular, like whenever, like I'm thinking about this one place that we'd go camping, and I would always film. Just like I would just have my phone out taking videos, and not for anything. Like now that I look at it, I'm like, I don't even know what I was planning on using that stuff for, or like what my intention was really even.
Yeah.
Other than just to like capture that moment. And the long and short of it is that I started my own channel first, and through that, my plan, I left college to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was your major?
It would have been marketing, but it was at the time I never even made it out of university studies. Like I was still right in the beginning. I was a really good student in high school.
So my point is, like, when you went into school, were you
I
like
had no clue about this.
Okay.
No clue.
Yeah.
No clue. The YouTube came about. I've always watched YouTube. Like that's what I primarily consume. But the long and short of it is that I essentially saw a video one day that it doesn't really matter. But the point being is that for whatever reason, that video was like, if this guy can do that, you've talked about this where you actually said it like that, right? If you could do that, and that's not anything against that person or against any, whoever you were kind of saying it towards. It's just a belief in yourself. Like, oh, this can be done.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it. So long and short of it is that I started that channel, and then I needed to find a way to monetize it. This is like 2017, 2018.
Right.
Way before the business. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And in my head, I was thinking, I'm making fitness videos. I play football and all this stuff. So maybe I'll try to be a personal trainer. So I was thinking about like practical applications.
Right. Things that you like to do. And you were like, I'm just going to add it in.
Yeah. Kind of like, and I was already making fitness videos. And so in my mind, I was thinking that some of that would translate over into either like being a personal trainer. And I remember one day, like I had like a list of like ways to convert it into a career or to monetize it essentially. Mm-hmm. And again, this was like 2017, 2018.
Right.
But my answer to that wasn't like through YouTube. It was like, well, I do fitness videos and I know what I'm doing. I could work out in my sleep.
Right.
I can train people through this and they've seen the videos and blah, blah, blah. And that was the reason why I keep bringing that one up is because that's the one that I ultimately tried. And it was a disaster. I hated it.
Yeah.
And
but this is curious to me. You liked working out and you liked doing videos, so why didn't that take off,
Well, the personal training, you mean?
I don't know. I mean, personal training.
Yeah, so it would probably be good for context. That channel the first time was, the tagline was politics, sports, fitness, right? This is when I was like 19 years old. And so
the tagline was what?
Politics, sports, fitness. Because those are the three things that I covered, mostly.
Okay.
And so I would do like dialogue videos like this, like sit down dialogue videos over politics or sports or whatever. But then I would also do vlogs, which are like video, so you know what vlogs are. So I'd do vlogs. I would also do fitness videos where I would go in and work out. And also the other thing about that channel that was, I thought pretty unique is that I would always have different guests on. Like almost every video that I put out had a different guest on. So I had like hundreds of people.
Right.
Made all kind of connections. But my point being is that every fitness video would have a different person on it. We would do a different kind of workout, whatever. Not because I'm trying to become a trainer. It's just
But then after the workout, you'd ask them about their political views?
No.
I'm trying to like...
No. So the point of that
thread it all together.
Well, the point of that channel was that you come for one and you stay for the other. So let's say you watch the sports videos and then you realize I do fitness videos and you like those as well. And then if you don't like the politics videos, you don't watch those. Now this channel that I have now that I just started, I'm not doing politics for the record.
Yeah. It's sports.
Yeah, it's mostly sports. But it will also have a lot of variety on it as well.
Right.
But my point saying all that is that at some point, again, I left school for that. And so, I'm living with my mom and like I gotta do something with this. And so I literally made a list of like maybe I'm trying to remember the other things that I put on there, but there was like 5 or 6 different things on there that I thought maybe I could do based on having done that so far.
Right.
And I tried personal training, it was a disaster, et cetera. The point of when I say all of that is to answer your question in a long-winded way by saying that of that list that I made, a videographer was not one of them. It never even, when I tell you it never even occurred to me, it never even occurred to me. I don't know why.
Wow.
Especially somebody, like I was sitting there thinking about it and it still didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But when I was personal training, that was a disaster. And so I left that gym in general, like just even as working out, like I just left it completely. So I went to another gym and I know this guy very well now. I don't understand why this happened because this never happens. But as soon as I walked in, for whatever reason, the receptionist said that he knew who I was and he wanted to talk to me. I was like, okay. The owner of the gym. And he was working out and everything, and he just walked me right up to him, and basically he said that he had seen, because at the other gym when I was personal training, that guy who owned that gym was basically like, you've done these videos before. If you do a couple videos for us, we'll cut down on your rent for being a trainer.
Oh, okay.
Still didn't even click in my head that I could do that.
Yeah.
Right? Still didn't click. I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, because you had a different mindset.
Right. I was looking at something else. But so the owner of the second gym said that he had seen some of that stuff and that he wanted me to do the same thing for them, and that he had, the gym as a brand, and then he had his own thing. Then his wife or girlfriend at the time had her own thing, and then obviously he had a bunch of personal trainers underneath him, and he essentially said, like, I saw what you did for them. If you do kind of the same thing for us, if it goes well, then I'll basically greenlight you to work with my trainers. And then it clicked. I was like, well, obviously the thing to do here is to make videos for people. Like, that's
right. So when you did that, did you like, what was the feeling that you had once you did that? Did you get a warm feeling about it, or was it just like, I'm making money, or what was the motivation?
Well, the motivation would be that, like, I posted a Facebook, whatever you call it, status, I guess, like when I was like 12 or 13, that said that I did not want to go to a job that I hate, come home, have a family life that's a disaster, be miserable till I go to sleep, and wake up and do it all over again. Like, to me, I just saw so many people doing that, and obviously a lot of people still do that.
Right.
And it was the craziest thing. Like, it was like legitimately insane to me that people did that, because it's like, you're miserable all the time.
Yeah.
And I get it, because you're spending 9-10 hours a day doing something you don't enjoy.
Well, because I don't feel like people know, including myself, what they love. They're just going about their day. It's like, I was thinking about this earlier, and I was doing the same thing. It's like you have a pitcher, and you fill it with water, and then once the water goes down, you fill it back up with water. And it's just a matter of, for myself, it was filling time in the day just with stuff, and you just don't, it's like, what is that when you think about life? I mean, is that how you're living your life? That's what you're doing? It's like, I don't know. I'm starting to get
I know exactly what you're saying, though. It's like,
I'm having a hard time getting out what I'm trying to say.
You're kind of saying what I'm saying, I think, which is kind of like, is that what this is?
Is that what life is?
Is that what the purpose, like, and that's basically exactly where I was coming from with that, is like, so,
I mean, you can
like,
feel
this is what
your
I'm supposed
life
to do when I grow up, is like, 'cause
right.
all these people look so damn miserable all the time, and also
is this what it is? Is this all it is?
With divorced parents, and where I primarily stayed was a very chaotic situation, and so I saw people that were miserable at home too, and so I don't even really know why. I don't know if that's a nature or nurture thing. Like, I don't know why I thought that strongly about that at that age to, like, post that, but it's always stuck out in my mind, because that's basically been the structure for. So to answer your question, it felt really good from the perspective that whenever I left college to do YouTube, it felt good. Both of them felt very scary too, obviously.
You were out of your box.
Yeah, for sure. The first one, leaving college was I think probably more impactful. Like, the business. So I just restarted my channel, like I said. So the channel I'm talking about before is a different channel that doesn't exist anymore. But my goal is to have my own thing, right? And the business allows me, in theory, to be able to help other people build theirs, which I think is awesome.
Right.
And as time has gone on, the business has been really, as it's developed, it's been really awesome and it's a long story that I'll try not to get into, but the point being is that there's been a lot of times, like, and this is why I tell you the feedback that you're going to get and that you're going to help people and change people, because I've done that already. I've done that many times with people that have much worse intentions than you have, because I really believe.
I don't have bad intentions.
No, that's what I mean, is that you have good intentions, and I've seen how, videography and this kind of thing, telling stories is what it comes down to. It's telling stories, storytelling, how that can help people, and so that became really, really interesting, and not interesting. To your point, that became really fulfilling. I really enjoy that.
Right.
Now, that's a whole
Yeah,
nother
you're
journey.
fulfilled. That's what I was getting
I
at.
enjoyed that a lot. Now, what you were also talking about was going kind of from thing to thing.
Yeah.
The reality is that
I think that's a human thing.
100%. Well, and there's a lot of
know?
reasons why people don't think that way, and that's why I say that I don't even really want to take credit for thinking that way because I don't know where that came from. You know, when like saying that at 12 years old, I could theorize on what I saw around me and that kind of thing, but I don't really know why I felt such conviction in that. But I've always, where it probably comes from is that chaotic household. I had such a thumb on me everywhere that I was. Whenever I was growing up, I was, you know, didn't have control over anything. And so now as an adult, I need it. You know, I don't,
Well,
I never really got along with bosses at regular jobs I worked, which by regular jobs, I mean serving tables.
Right.
At several different places.
Yeah.
And if you think about serving tables, same thing. You're in a lot of control of your own flow and how much money you make and that kind of thing.
Well, and you've got to be a team player, and sometimes people aren't just meant to be team players.
Yeah.
they're meant to strike out on their own. Entrepreneurship.
It felt both of those things. My point with the business is there became a really, really fulfilling aspect to it that I do really love, that I also didn't really expect. But leaving college to do YouTube originally, I think was the bigger decision by far, because I looked like an absolutely loose cannon nutcase for doing that. But I knew, I knew what it could be. But I remember that I was in a sociology class, and the long and short of this is that I got really good grades. I was in honors programs when I was in elementary school and middle school and high school and all that stuff. But because of that, and it's a whole other situation about the education system. But
that's another podcast.
Yeah, any system that you can graduate with honors and never lift a finger, I don't care how smart I am, is not going to prepare you for fucking anything.
Yeah.
And so whenever I went to college, it's like, dude, you can be as smart as you want. Good luck.
Yeah,
Good
right.
luck. And I bombed.
Yeah.
Absolutely bombed because I never learned how to study. I never learned how to time manage. Because I didn't have to.
Yeah, I was
I
not
just come
that
in and
great
take a damn
college
test
either.
and, in 7th grade, I got a 19 on the ACT.
Oh,
Yeah. So like,
Congrats.
But how would I don't know what's on the test. You know what I mean? I've not taken
Yeah.
those classes yet.
Does
so
anybody know what's on the test?
So how is it possible? It's because it's not that hard. Like it's not
The SAT?
the ACT. A lot
It's
of
so
it,
hard.
a
What are you
lot of
talking
it-
about?
My point being is that there's it, and I remember thinking this at the time too. I ultimately, when I was a junior in high school, got a 26, which is better. But
Yeah.
but I'm thinking, okay, so I got a 19 when I was in 7th grade, and I have to go to school for 6 more years. My shit better be a 36 by the time we get there.
Right,
It was a
right.
26. So I went to school for 5-6 more years to get 7 points on that test.
Yeah.
And I never even went to college, or I didn't even use it really.
Right.
So my point saying all that is that it didn't prepare me for anything. And whenever I went to college, I kind of flamed out pretty quickly. But I also flamed out because, going back to my original point, that shit ain't gonna work for me. You know what I mean? If having
Yeah.
one boss,
Yeah.
I have trouble with.
Yeah.
Having a bunch of teacher, And
I
so
get it.
I left, then I went back to Vol State Community College here and paid for it myself. That was obviously a very different thing. Felt more responsible for it. Felt like I took it a little bit more seriously. But I wasn't taking a lot of hours, and so I say all that to say that fall, whenever I ultimately left, I started my channel in spring, and then over the summer, that's all that I did. And then that fall, whenever I went back, I was actually in a sociology class, which I should, in theory, enjoy a lot. And she was passing out the syllabus. It was my first class. And I just remember reading the syllabus and going, thinking about how many hours I completed and going, so I have to do this for 6 months.
Yeah.
Then another 6 months.
You're like, I'm
two
out.
semesters. Then another 6 months.
I'm not doing it.
Then another 6 months. Because after going back and forth with it, I was barely even a sophomore after 3 years. And I'm like, so I got to do this even if I was on my shit, I got to do this for another 2.5 years, 3 years. And I literally remember the way I always.
Wait, what was your major there?
I think, like I said, I honestly feel like it was it may have been marketing, but
Marketing, liberal, or something?
it may have been, but I was still in the general.
Yeah,
the
you were
first
just
couple years,
flowing through.
Well, the first couple of years is general studies. All
Right.
your basic, for
Yeah,
most people.
your basic stuff.
So I was basically still in that because of how slow
Right.
my progress had been. And so my point being is that I'm looking at this I'm barely even started.
Yeah.
And it was a light switch.
If you're not passionate about something and you're studying it, then
Looking back on
what's
it, it's
the
a miracle
motivation?
I ever went back. It's probably
Right.
because I didn't have any shit else to do. Actually, it's definitely because I didn't have shit else to do.
Right. But I mean, you're a kid, and most kids do that.
Yeah,
They're,
100%.
I was the same way. I am still the same way, but
100%.
I feel like I'm a little more focused now. But
No, I mean, it was the right move as far as I don't really know what I'm doing. So that's the time that you would, especially if it's cheaper like that, and Vol State now is free for the first 2 years.
Right.
So, but it was like a switch went off in my head. I was like, no. Like, it literally just, like, died. What little
That's
bit
good.
was even there, it, like, died. I was like, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
And I literally walked out of that class and called my dad and called my mom. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that felt really good. And looking back on it, that's one of the prouder moments. That's one of the
Sorry.
prouder.
That's going to be
She
really
said-
loud.
I said, that's one of the proud. He said, oh, yeah, for sure, whatever. No, but.
Are you making fun of me?
Yeah, I'm just joking. That I would say, whenever we're talking about like the purpose and like, you know, that kind of thing, I think that's one of the prouder moments that I have, because that was pure instinct of
Right.
like, this is, I can't do this anymore, and I'm gonna go try this thing that looks fucking crazy. to
Yeah.
everybody. And now that being said, I think it's important after I've said all of that to say that, you know, you were talking about earlier going from thing to thing. And another way to look at that, I think, is called being in survival mode. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people, for one reason or another, are in survival mode. Mine, again, probably comes from a super chaotic upbringing. So I'm just like kind of turned on like that all the time.
Yeah, and I think it has to do also with not having confidence in yourself. Like, I'd, for years, just walked through life, like I said, going, what is my purpose? What am I doing? Why am I here? You know, and so what I would do was just
Distract yourself.
try out all kinds of things,
Well, that's better than.
which is great.
Yeah,
you know,
that's better than what a lot of people do. A lot of people just.
Some people don't. Some people just get in one job and then they just plow through. It's like they, you know, put it on auto and just go. And that's no way to go through life either, you know, because I also, side note, think that you get to an age where you're like, this is it. I have one shot here.
Just one.
That's it.
Yep.
I'm going to die. You know, and it may have to do as well with your parents dying, because both of my parents have passed away now. And, you know, mortality really hits you in the face when you're like, wow, like, that's it. They're gone. And I'm like, I am up at the top of the hill and I have down the hill, and then I'm done. So it made me feel a little anxious about, what am I doing in this life? Like, it's not that I'm trying to cure cancer or anything. I'm just wanting, you know, what am I trying to say?
No, you're working your way through it. Keep going.
It
You're
would
good.
be nice just to, you know, I guess when I die, for people just to say, hey, she was fun. She really said something that was, you know, impactful to me. You know, I got that a lot with in my dad's funeral. I heard so many great things about my dad that just blew my mind. And I was like, wow, he was just really well loved. And, you know, it's,
That's a powerful
you just
thing.
want to do things that
matter.
that to me, and that make me feel full. So I want to go through life now, not filling my pitcher with water, but, you know, how bright can it be? You know, it can be Kool-Aid, it can be tea, it
That
can
makes
be,
sense.
you know, just like I don't want it. I don't want to have a vanilla existence. I want to make changes as small as they can be, you know, with me, or they can be to someone else that's hearing something and maybe that, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You can edit that out.
No,
That
listen,
sounded
that
like shit.
I honest to God, that I was right there with you. You're working. You're working through it in real time. You're thinking.
I am, but I'm telling you, and I was telling him this morning that I was trying to figure out what the hell am I going to say today? And I was like, you know, I was in the shower and I was like working through it, and I was talking in the shower, and it was all coming like water over me.
I think everything you just said made a lot of sense. And
Well, it was coming through like loud and clear, to the point where I got really emotional,
Yeah.
because I was like, yes, this is what I'm trying to say. And now I get on camera and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
I think everything that you said made sense. And to me, because what it made me think of is what you said earlier. And you were like, well, who am I to talk about this? And I think a lot of people think that way, you know. And the other thing a lot of people think is that they don't matter, and what they care about doesn't matter. And that's really an extension. If you say, who am I to talk about this? I don't really matter.
Well, is that what I said?
No, you said. Well, you basically said your initial thought was kind of like, who am I to talk about the purpose of life? I'm not the Dalai Lama type thing.
Well, that has been my thought process for years. Is like I don't have the authority, honestly, to say what I need to say. I really don't. Like who am I? And I've also had people in the past say, try to push me down, and not in a huge way, just little ways, but then it affects me because I don't have the confidence. And so, that stops me
100%.
from doing things. Like, for a long time, I have wanted to do something like this. I wanted to blog there for a while, and I would talk to my brother or friends about it, and I would go, yeah, I'm thinking about maybe like writing or blogging or something like that. And they would go, why? I mean, why would you put yourself out there? Why do you want people to know your private shit? And I would think for a minute and go, yeah, you're right. God, why do I don't. You're right. And so that would shut me up. So that went on, for years.
Well, and it goes on, and it'll go on right now with this.
Yeah, what's happened, is I went through, and I've gone through pain in my life, but pain has caused, I wrote this down, hold on. Pain has caused me to learn in my search for meaning. Pain has caused me to learn, which has opened up understanding, which has made me shed an old version of myself, which has brought in a more authentic version of myself, which has opened up new friends in my life, which has caused me to gain confidence and to not be scared to share things. And therefore, I'm starting to share stories of my life. Whether people are interested or not, I'm sharing them. And hopefully that is calling me to a higher purpose. And, and that's...
And it all started with what?
It started...
Those steps that you
It started with pain.
Started with pain.
For me.
Started with pain.
And what's so weird, is...
That's where it usually starts, though. The people that...
Yeah.
That's where it usually starts.
But the pain has to be big enough. Like the pain for me, I have had pain in my life. I had a lot of pain going through my first marriage, which was, dealing with addiction. It was, I don't want to get into that, but that was super painful. Addiction, betrayal, all those key phrases. But it didn't push me to the point where I am now. And I don't know if it has to do with my age.
Do you think...
I think it does have to do with my age, because before, like I said, I was younger, and I didn't know how to handle it, and so I just didn't. And so the pain just pushed me out the door, through a hallway into another door.
Right.
And that, and that room was clear. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I've shut that door, I'm good. And I've gotten to a point now where I'm not going through doors anymore. I'm more going through like a curtain, and I'm like, God, I can still feel the pain here, and I can't ignore it anymore. And so through that pain, it has caused me to like put the brakes on things and go, you know what, I need to like really sit with this for a minute. And it's an awesome feeling, because it's a paradox feeling. You feel the pain, but then you also feel the reward of that pain.
Right, exactly.
Which is crazy.
Balance is something that
Yeah, it's a yin-yang thing.
I want to write a book about balance, literally.
Yeah.
And yin-yang is a great example, by the way. Yin-yang, in case people don't know, the white dot in the black and the black dot in the white it's balance. That's the Tao symbol for balance. Yin-yang.
Yeah.
And the point is that you can't have white without black. You can't have white without black without white, and you need white even.
Right.
And really, what it comes down to, and again, I could actually go on about this forever, so I won't. But it comes down to order and chaos.
It's only an hour.
It comes down to order and chaos. But
Controlled chaos. Is that what
I
you
said?
said?
It comes down to order and chaos.
Oh, right.
Order and chaos, or like the overall two.
Yeah.
forces. And I wanted to ask you a question. You said that the pain got you, but before it didn't. And I can relate to that for sure.
It didn't for so many years.
So do you think that is a function of what people would call, which I don't love this phrase because it could always get worse, but what people would call rock bottom? And if not, if you didn't feel like you were at rock bottom.
No, I felt like I was at I was at rock bottom after my first divorce, but I wasn't confident in myself when I got through with that divorce. I felt very fragile, stupid. I had no trust, and I also felt like people judged me. It was just like all of this stuff hit me, but I wasn't, what's the word I'm looking for? Mature enough in myself to tackle it and to put a name on it. It was just like all the predominant feeling that I had was loneliness. And oh my God, I'm like, I'm not married anymore. How do I do this? I have young kids. How do I do this? And so that's what was overtaking me.
I've done a few episodes with people that have, over the years, that have attempted suicide. One of them really should have died in particular.
That's sad.
Her story's insane. She literally shot herself under the chin.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She actually looks incredible considering.
Yeah.
But every time that I do an episode like that, and it's not planned by me or the host of that particular show or whatever. It's happened a few times, but every time that I feel the need to, I do it. It's usually with topics of suicide, but I found it very interesting talking to people that have had that experience or been there. I've never thought about it. I've never wanted to do it.
Oh, I've never gotten like that either.
I understand, and this is a weird thing, but I understand. I get why people get to that point. I've never fully gotten to that point, but I understand why people do. Mm-hmm. And that became super duper clear through having these conversations, because what was interesting is like that woman that I was talking about who shot herself under the chin. She is a woman. She had her life. She's one person. Another person, just off the top of my head, and there were several, but just off the top of my head, is somebody that you would probably know by name, who was on TV. I mean, he doesn't mind me saying this. It's Big Joe. Have you ever heard of Big Joe on the go by chance? I'll show you a picture of him afterwards. But if you ever heard of him, he was on like Nashville news like every day for 20 years, and now he's on the radio, et cetera. He's a really, really well-known personality around here. And he came on one of the shows that I produced and talked about how he was
suicidal.
Like he was like there, like about to do it, like gun in front of him type thing.
Yeah, that's super sad.
And he himself has known, and this is kind of a sidebar, but he himself has known 9 personal friends that have committed suicide.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So my point being is that Big Joe and Little Cassie is her name, are in no way the same. There's not one.
Edit this out. Sorry.
You can't see it anyway because I'm talking.
Okay.
They're in no way the same person. They don't have the same experiences. They don't, on a day-to-day or in general. She lived in Las Vegas. He lives in Nashville. There's absolutely nothing that ties them together except for the fact
that they're both suicidal.
That when they were at that point, what they described more than anything feeling was lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time that I have an episode like that,
overtake you.
Every time I have an episode like that, the title of it says "You Are Not Alone,"
right.
Specifically for that reason. So it totally makes sense that would be the overwhelming sense that you got afterwards, and why that would affect you so much from.
Well, it still affects me. I mean, I have
100%.
Yeah.
Loneliness is a hard thing to get off
Loneliness for me has been, it has been like an undercurrent.
Right.
Like I always have fought, this is before now, but I've always fought this undercurrent of loneliness. And I can stay above through exercise. Exercise is huge for me. Through walking, through hanging out with friends, through... it's distractions. They're good distractions. I don't I
Yeah,
don't.
there's ways to handle it. It's not a negative thing. Like you're like
Right,
putting your head in the sand about it. It's nothing like that.
Right. This has just been my process. I've never been one to take antidepressants, and I don't judge anybody that does. I mean, my kids are on antidepressants, and that's great, and it's helped them. But for myself, I've had to do other things to stay above that undercurrent. But it's always been there. I always feel it.
I can relate to that, honestly.
And it's like I dip down and then I have to get back up. But what's so crazy about it now is I hit the pain just recently, like I said, and I feel like with my maturity and me being able to process things differently, and I don't have that undercurrent really anymore. It's still there, but it's so faint.
Like if it was a noise, like a white noise that's always there.
There's no white caps.
And now it's kind of, it's fading.
Yeah, it's more of
Much
just
smoother.
like a very, very still water.
Well, that's good. And you know what is interesting that ties everything that we're saying together is that, you know, after your divorce, for example, you had your kids then too. You know, it's not like, the point being is that the work and the things that have made you feel that way were things that you worked on within yourself, right? And whenever you think like lonely, you think, oh, I need to be around a bunch of people. One of my favorite quotes ever, because I do relate to this very much so, is loneliness is most sharply felt in the presence of others. So, but think about that, right? You're at a party. That's where you should feel the least lonely. There's people everywhere. There's the guy right there, a guy right there. There's one of your friends right there. There's another one right there.
Right.
This is, I mean, of all places, this is where you should not feel lonely. But that's where you will feel the loneliest because you thought that would do the trick. And it didn't.
Right. Well, and you can also trauma dump on people, and you can tell them all about it.
For sure.
And that's great, but that doesn't heal it.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is there's something that needs to be healed. It's not.
You've got to
It's not a
look.
matter of surrounding yourself with people purely.
Right. You've got to look inside, and it's just taken me a long time to figure out how to do that. It's not, people would say just look inside and heal yourself and all that. And like I said, that's hard to do.
And I think people that say that without giving you practical steps are almost doing more damage than they are helping because it sounds stupid. And then you don't do it. And then whenever it comes, and you did ultimately, but a lot of times people are like, yeah, whatever.
You just kind
of roll your eyes at it.
I've had to really roll it back and break it down and all that kind of stuff. But
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because I feel like we're getting off track with the loneliness thing, but that does play into it.
But loneliness went like that is directly why it's important to search for things like the purpose of life. And that's what I was telling you before is that you are the exact person to talk about it, just like anybody else would be, because every single person has that search. Every single person has that desire to find something that's fulfilling, but also just generally speaking, we don't, and this is what I was going to say, a good frame, I think, to switch is, and if you're listening and for whatever reason you're also in the other framework, then also hear this, but we're not here to preach. You're not here to preach. You're not here to tell people, you're a bad person for this, you're a bad person for that, do this, do that, because I know better. It's not, this is called a discussion about things that we will never have the true answers to, that we will never fully understand. Where did we come from? Why are we here? These are the questions that human beings have grappled with since we could grapple with them. So if the idea is, well, I'm not the Dalai Lama, you're an expert at grappling with what is the purpose of life, just like every other person. Because everybody grapples with that.
I'm an expert at struggle.
All day, every day. And the last part
internal
I would say to
struggle
that is that a lot of people, and I envy this, I really do. I don't know if you're religious or not, but I'm not. And I have a faith that's I've had faith that's developed and spirituality that's developed in my adult years that I believe is past that. I grew up in a Baptist church and this kind of thing. So it's not that I haven't experienced those things. That's why I say I envy it. Because I actually wish that, like some of the people that I knew, that I could just go, it's okay because it's in God's hands.
I'm not like that.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm not saying you are. I just mean that, like.
But a lot of people do.
That bedrock of faith makes this question so much easier to deal with because The answers are all right there. It says, this is where we came from. This is where you're going. This is how you live. This is why
yes, but also they can fall back on that.
100%.
I know a lot of people that are like, just let go and let God.
100%.
You know, and okay, that's great, but you still have issues, you know.
You know what somebody said one
whoever-
time that I loved? They said, God will bring the rain, but you have to harvest your field. Excuse me, you have to prepare your field. God will bring the rain, but you have to prepare your field.
Okay, that's good.
I like that. Like, you have to till your... Like, he'll bring the rain, but if you didn't do anything, you
Right.
just sat around waiting for the rain to come, you never...
Right, and that makes sense. But the people that say, you know, let go and let God and all that, you know, I don't know. I would have to talk to them more in depth and see, you know, how their faith is and how, you know, how much they've worked on themselves, you know, because you can fall back on
100%.
those phrases a lot.
That's what I'm saying is you could be like, well, God's going to bring the rain. Don't worry about it.
Right.
It's like, well, true, but you also... But there's no plants out there.
Yeah.
You haven't planted anything. So even if, you know...
Yeah.
He does.
I don't know. I mean, I've talked to God through all of this, and it's, you know, so I do have a good relationship with God. But I was going to say too, totally like changing subjects with, you know, trying to figure out your purpose, or at least with me, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing a bunch of different things to figure it out. I mean, it's all trial and error, right? Everything that I've done, odd jobs and whatnot, is ultimately leading me, or has led me to how I feel in myself right now. So I don't think that anything is bad, but I mean, I'll just tell you some of the little odd jobs that I've had in order to get to my purpose, which I still don't know where it is, but one of them is like,
you're getting there, though.
So it's like, you know,
oh yeah,
what?
I'm just thinking about the first conversation that we had. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
Because you told me about an odd job that you had just gotten.
Oh, everything that I've done?
If you remember that. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't know. I try, you know, what I was trying to do is you go with what you know, with what you're familiar with. And so what I was familiar with was dance, because as a kid, I danced. I danced all the time. I did garage shows for the neighborhood. I put on The Wiz. I don't know if you even know about that. You heard of The Wiz? It's kind of the black version of The Wizard of Oz. It had Michael Jackson in it. It was way before your time. But anyway, and I was the Scarecrow. Anyway, so I would do stuff like that, and then from there it went into like theater and dance and all that, and it was great. But I don't know where I'm going with that. But anyway, as I got older, there were like tumbling jobs that were available, and so I was like, I can do this. I mean, I tumbled as a kid. I was on a gymnastics team. And so I bought the mats, and I, you know, answered the ad and said, I'm your tumbling teacher. I mean, went in there with like unabashed confidence.
Right.
Even though I didn't have that confidence, because I was like, well, you know, really haven't had any tumbling jobs. But I ended up doing that for years. You know, I would take my mats and I would teach tumbling, and it got better. It was just like, you know, the more I did it, the better I got with it. So there was that, and then there was another job where I was I always thought it would be cool to be a makeup artist, and so I answered an ad for makeup artist and production assistant, and I got that. And then once I got it,
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's
once I got it, I
that
got on YouTube because I was like, how hard can it be to like slap makeup on a black man? So it wasn't that hard. But what was hard was dealing with said black man because...
Oh, well, yeah. It's Jason Whitlock. Is that okay to say?
It's Jason Whitlock,
I'll blur it later if you want me to. But
and I mean...
He's not notoriously known... his content's interesting sometimes, but he's not notoriously known for being easy, I would say. Easy to deal with. He has a whole playlist on his YouTube of beefs that he's been in.
I had never heard of the man. I had never heard of that YouTube.
You should have called me before.
I thought it was really cool. I was like, I could be a production assistant. That would be so cool.
Like when you said that, I was like, really?
Yeah.
It's like for Jason Whitlock, that's crazy. That's like, that's awesome.
It was cool, but he came in. Okay, that was right when the Matt Lauer stuff had gone down. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where he, like, in his office, he had the button
Where
and all that stuff.
he got fired for.
Yeah, he had I'm pretty sure Matt Lauer's the one that had a button under his desk that would, like, lock the door and stuff like that.
And yeah, just like stuff. Anyway, it was.
It was like during Me Too. It was like during the Me Too time period.
Right.
Yeah.
Look it up. So, Jason, you know, I was trying to be friendly as I was putting the makeup on, and so I would, you know, ask him questions and stuff. And then at one point, he like put the brakes on, like, you know, don't ask me these questions or something. God, I can't remember, but it was very kind of like
I'm not your friend.
Yeah, don't talk to me. And I just thought, okay. And you know, he had said some other condescending things. Like at one point, I got there early, and then he came in, and I was on the phone, and he said, "Get off the phone with your boyfriend. Come on," you know. And I was like, "Oh, this is not sitting well with me."
This is fascinating to me in a way that you could not possibly understand to hear this. It really is. Like I may have watched the Jason Whitlock video 2 days ago. It makes me not want to.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like
There
him
were
like that.
other- it
Part
was
of the reason why I
just-
watch him is because he is so
It's just who
abrasive.
he is.
He's just
you
so
know?
abrasive. Is a way to put it, I guess.
Whatever. It's just who he was. I mean, I was like, I can't even break into that exterior. I'm a pretty cool person. I can
Yeah.
talk. You know, all the other people that were around him, I really enjoyed talking to them. They were cool, but it just got to the point where I felt not appreciated in my job, and I was, you know, and I took that job seriously.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fun. I could do something with this, but it just got to the point at the end of the day where I was like, I have to tap out of this.
Yeah.
You know, I have to stop. So there was that check, and then there was another time where I was a wine host. I didn't know a thing about wine, but I like to drink it. I know that. But
he goes, well, I mean, if I think about all the times that I've had to think about what I was buying and what kind of wine it was, you know, I may actually know quite a bit about this. Actually, now that I think about
I
it.
mean, I really didn't, but I learned, you know, and that was fun, and it was social. But again, that got to the point where I had to do certifications, you know, and the man that hired me, I kind of got grandfathered in to where I didn't have to do this one certification. And then he started hiring other women, and it got real catty because they had to do the certifications that I didn't, and I was already doing the wine host thing. And it just got like,
catty's probably a good word.
It got catty.
I think catty's probably a good word.
It got catty.
It's a pretty
and
good
it got
word.
to the point where I was like, I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
I'm not having fun here anymore.
Yeah.
And another note is, this was when the Great Migration happened with all the Californians, and they would come in.
The Great Migration. That is so funny.
With their straw hats and their vests, and they would just talk about how it's so Americana in here, and they would ask me, you know, is this wine from Napa?
God.
And I started to get angry internally.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, don't be a smart ass.
I could totally see that.
Be nice. Be Americana. Be what you're supposed to be.
Right.
And all of that played into where I said, I've learned enough here and I have to leave.
Yeah.
So I left. But, God, what else did I do? Oh, the art class model. Yeah, that was a whole thing.
Podcasting. Don't forget podcasting.
We already talked about that. Oh, I was a boat cleaner once.
A boat cleaner.
That was fun. I mean, I
Like
learned
at the
a
lake,
lot.
I guess.
What's that?
At the lakes, I guess, or
it was at Hilton
lake?
Head one summer. It was hard work, I will say.
That's really interesting.
I'm not sure what I was trying to get out of it other than just, you know, an hourly wage. But
I mean,
I didn't enjoy that at all. It was like, this is not for me.
I couldn't
This is
imagine
not
that.
my purpose.
Yeah.
So I'll pass on that. I got to DJ for my son's hockey game when he was a senior. That was fun. I had lots of fun doing that.
That's so cool.
He did not like that.
I bet he didn't.
Not at all.
I
I
bet
was
he
like,
didn't.
can you give me a playlist of, like, you know, maybe what y'all listen to? But I never really got that. I tried to just get in the car with him and listen to his music, and I was trying to add it in, and I was like, oh, forget this. I'm just going to do classic, like, you know, 80s, maybe, you know, some Biggie Smalls.
Right.
Anyway, I don't think DJ is my way to go either. Even though it's fun. I just like doing fun things.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm hearing you say is I actually can relate to that as well. I mean, as far as jobs go, I pretty much serve tables, but I tried doing
I waited tables.
I'd like doing my own thing, quote unquote. I tried that a bunch of different ways, and at one point, like, to be honest, like that's where a lot of my confidence that what I do have about it comes from the standpoint, like the way that I think about it in my head is like I've tried and failed so many times. That's why I know that I'll succeed because I've already done all that.
Yeah,
like I've already
I
tried
mean, you
all
do
that.
it, you check it off.
Yeah, exactly. How could you possibly know?
Right, you don't.
Now you could come across something that you just really click with right out of the gate, but like 99.9% of people don't do that. And
but I think the key for me anyway has been, go back to what you enjoy and what I've enjoyed. I love to dance. I could do it all day long, every day. I love to dance. I love to draw. Drawing is very calming to me, and so and I do like talking. I mean, who doesn't like talking?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
And so what it's brought me to is, I've hit an age where I can talk about my experiences and share to whoever, and then I can also draw it out because I think some people are visual and some people are auditory, and
100%.
so
I love the way that you draw those, like with the, because that's kind of how like my mind sees things as well. Like visually, like even like looking at your notes, that's what my notes look like. Just arrows and circles and like, like highlights and drawings. Like mine are kind of like that too, because in my head, like your flow chart that you were talking through earlier. That's like how I'll draw stuff. I swear to God.
My ripple effect.
I swear to God,
Well, that's what. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that. That's what I was. Not to interrupt you, but to interrupt you. Like with all these odd jobs and trying to get to where I am now, which is hopefully making a difference for somebody, I was also thinking, what's the point of this? What's the point of it all? The point of it all for me is just to be like a ripple. One little, pebble in the water, and hopefully, that ripple can just like start something.
100%.
I don't know.
No, it makes total. Listen,
I have ripple effect. Make a difference.
Listen, you know what I'll tell you? You need to just keep doing what you're doing, because every time that you say, I don't know, or I don't know where I'm going with this, or I don't know if that sounds stupid, it never does. The only person that thinks that it sounds that way is you.
Well, I don't.
And this is what I mean by that.
It doesn't feel as stupid as, as it did.
Well, but.
So that's good. That's progress.
Good. Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
And my point in saying that is to use this specific example. You're like, I'm not really sure if that makes sense or where I'm going. Literally yesterday, I had a conversation with my wife about how it's amazing to see how my very intentional leadership with some people in my life has benefited them in ways that I didn't even expect. And that's the part that...
That's nice. They came back and told you?
Well...
Oh.
Now, listen, acknowledgement's a whole nother thing, but that's okay. That's not, if you're really doing it for the right reasons, it's not what it's about. And my point being in saying that is that in a lot of I set out with an intention of accomplishing a handful of things with a handful of people, and it did not, the journey was not remotely probably what I would have visualized, but recently in those particular situations, I kind of stepped back and realized, wait a second, I kind of wanted this person to grow up, and they did. I kind of wanted this person to do this, and they did.
Right.
And it made me realize, and this is literally what I was saying to her yesterday, I was like, it's like I can see. So I was telling you, my mind thinks like this, right? For whatever reason, whenever I was saying this to her, I was visualizing almost like a star coming on, or like a something pulsing, like energy, and it was just like hitting all the people.
Right. It's a ripple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it makes total sense to me. It makes total sense to me, what you're saying.
Like I have not what you do, but how you feel about what you do is what's important.
Yes.
And I've just figured that out. It's not what you do. It's just how you feel about it. And how it makes you feel. And then how it makes you feel will make someone else feel a certain way. If you feel passionate about something, then that's going to rub off on someone else.
Well, and their passion doesn't even have to be the same. Just seeing somebody that has the courage to go for something, right? You remember the poem? that I read you.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Yeah,
that?
at the very beginning.
Yeah.
The real long one.
Yeah, and at the end...
I don't remember it verbatim.
Well, at the end,
yeah.
it says that as we liberate ourselves from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others.
Yes, that's deep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And as we... I don't want to mess it up, but because I love it, but it's hanging above my desk. I mean, like, I
Yeah.
love this poem.
Yeah.
And, at the end, it says, as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. As we... That's going to bother me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look it up now.
It's just cool that you can, at least for me, another thing I was thinking about in the shower was, for the longest time, I've had all these thoughts in my head as far as like, I've just had thoughts in my head and they felt like, you know how a dandelion, when you blow it, all the seeds kind of
Go everywhere.
That's how it's felt in my head for the longest time. And now I've just feel more focused on what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to do. And it's coming to this quote that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, which is Wayne Dyer.
Mm-hmm. 1,000% true.
Which is true.
1,000% true.
But I don't know.
1,000% true. You can make a heaven out of hell or a hell out of heaven.
Yeah.
The end of that poem, by the way, is, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. That could be no, that could not be a bumper sticker. That's too much words. Too many words. Could be something, though.
It says, your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Right. You don't want to... And I think that's been my issue is I've just felt like I needed to shrink. I needed to just be quiet and go about my business and not make any waves.
Don't make any noise. Don't upset anybody.
And not make any noise, exactly. And, there's also this thing with making noise or causing a ruckus or whatever because it's drawing attention. Yes, you can draw attention in a bad way, or you can draw attention in a more authentic, honest way.
100%.
And that's okay.
100%. That's balance.
Right.
That's balance. I think
just like when you're going through things. Okay, so sorry,
you're good. No,
it's like I'm on it.
Do your thing.
Like when you're going through things, like the things that I've gone through, as far as like, all those key phrases but it didn't push me to the point where I am now. And I don't know if it has to do with my age. I've dealt with gold diggers. I've dealt with betrayal and abandonment and all of that, having no trust and people talking about me. And you can go in two different directions. You can go in the direction of the victim mentality of, why does this always happen to me kind of thing. Or you can go in the direction of, this is what's happened to me. This is what I've learned from it. This is how I'm trying to grow, and this is how I can share with other people things that I know to be true. And, if I see someone else that are going through the same thing, then, I'm open and I'm here to answer any questions or to, help you along the way.
Not because you think you're better
Not
than
because,
somebody or because you know so much more. It's because you went through it. All you're doing is sharing your experience.
Right. And you have to, and that's a fine line as well. You can't force that information on. All you can do is just be open and say, I've had this and I understand you and I hear you. And whenever you're ready to face it or whatever, I'm here for you.
Which I think is what you're doing with this, and that's why I said what I said earlier. This is not a preach. This is not a this isn't a destination. You started this out by saying that you've realized that figuring out what your purpose is and what life is about is a journey, not a destination. So if you're listening to this, this is just part of your journey. We're not here to give you a destination because there isn't one.
Right.
We can't give you a destination.
Yeah.
You don't have a destination. I don't have a destination. Wherever you're at in your journey, if you're hearing this and this is totally, every single thing we just said is totally new information to you, or if you're hearing this and you're 99% there and this really was the last thing that you needed to hear.
Yeah.
Either way, the point is that you're sharing your experiences, and like the poem says, that is what liberates others. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have the perfect,
right.
Thing to say. You're sharing things that automatically give other people courage to begin to share as well. By the way, share with maybe themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe things that they hadn't wanted to really truly sit with.
Right. It takes time, and this just feels good to my soul.
And that's all.
And it's like this is the first time in
100%
since I've been alive that this feels good to me. This feels like a fit, and it feels
right.
Yeah. Just it feels like this is what I'm supposed to do, and it's uncomfortable. Still, it's uncomfortable to sit and share stuff that's personal, but what's the point of going through it if you're not gonna share it?
Bingo.
If you're not gonna
Bingo.
share it to help someone else?
100%. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Just figure that out.
I 100% agree.
So
100%.
makes me a little teary-eyed.
Well, I'm very proud of you, seriously.
Thanks.
I really am. And
you're a good sounding board.
thank you.
And you're tracking with me, which is good.
Well, and like I said, I relate to a lot of it, and I relate also to the part that says, "Oh, that's probably stupid. You probably don't get it anyway." Yeah, I do that too. So like I hear it, I see it.
I mean, there are a lot of people that you can talk to about this, and they're not. They're just
you see
not
their
there.
eyes glaze over.
Yeah,
yeah, 100%.
They're like, "What'd you say you wanted to do?"
And that is tough, especially like if you are a person that feels things and feels things deeply and thinks about things deeply. And, listen, if you want to go about your life and never think about what the purpose of it is, that's totally fine. You're allowed to do that.
You
you're
can
a girl,
do
you're
it.
a big boy, you're a big girl, you do whatever you want. That's not, I can't.
But that's an empty life to me.
100%. But my point is, listen, you're an adult, you do you. But that's what we're describing is we can't. And a lot of people, I think, probably can't. I love I'm a big quotes guy, obviously. But another great one that I love is that most people live lives of quiet desperation. So
yeah, I would believe
you're
that.
in desperation for fulfillment. You're in desperation for joy. Think about the word desperate, right? You are desperate for it. Even a drop of water in that dry lake bed, right, would just feel like heaven. Like you're desperate for it. So you're at that stage. But you're also in quiet desperation. You just sit and you deal with it, and you just don't do much about it, and you just kind of sit with it.
You're bound to your own. You're bound to your own wounds and your own. Yeah. I mean, it's like you're putting yourself in a straitjacket when you don't have to.
Well, and you know too that people, we create narratives and stories in our head, and those narratives and stories give us identifiers. I am this. I am not this. This is what I do. This is what I don't do. This is what I say. This is what I don't, whatever. And even the best human being on this planet with the best intentions, they still tell them, there is still a story that is running in their head of who they are. Everybody has it. I'm a husband. I'm a this. I'm a that. But that also works the other way. And
like, what is your label?
Like, so, like, let's say that your label is, I'm not worthy. Which, whenever I've done therapy before,
so many labels.
That's one of the phrases that came up for me is that I'm not worthy. If that is what truly, past everything, truly, I believe, then I will do everything I can to prove that right, because that is the story that I believe identifies myself.
Yeah.
Right. So I created it. Now it's mine. This is my story about me.
Right.
And so you attach, like you're saying, you almost grab onto it.
Well, yeah.
And,
a lot of
if you're
people
doing
do
really,
that.
really good, you go, and you self-sabotage. Why? Because you have to prove that story right. You have to prove wait, I'm not the person that is successful. I'm the person that's not worthy. So this isn't supposed to be me. I'm not this person. Self-sabotage. Oh, now I feel like shit again. Yeah, that's me. Because that's the identifier that you go with on a day-to-day basis. It filters every decision that you make and everything that you see.
Well, that's how it is with the victim mentality.
Exactly.
You get you play victim, or you believe it. You're the victim.
And sometimes you really are.
And
sometimes you really are.
Totally. But what did you do to contribute to that 100%. Victim mentality? A lot of people that are in it don't take any accountability
Absolutely
for
not.
it, but they can still get all of the recognition of being the victim. And
yeah, you want to talk about something else I can go on forever? This kind of shit drives me.
And that'll keep you in that victim mentality.
And then what happens is that those people learn that it works.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and then it becomes real difficult because it's already difficult to take accountability. But then you get rewarded for not taking accountability.
Yes.
And then you get rewarded again, and then again, and then again, and then again, and then again, and
well,
then again.
Because of who they're connecting with. They're connecting with people that are in that lower vibration as well.
That also don't take accountability.
Yeah.
That are also victims all the time, right? Oh, don't worry about it. It's what he did to you or what she did to you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
you got a friend like
great.
that. You got a friend like that. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
For real.
But how do you even? That's a whole nother podcast. How do you, once you're in that, and you're connecting with that same vibration, how do you get out of it? You don't get out of it unless said victim hits total rock bottom and has some kind of an awakening that is moving you out of it, so you're not getting that validation, that low vibration validation. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, 100%. The thing that the example I wanted to bring up about this, I read a book a few years ago called Extreme Ownership. It's about a U.S. Navy SEAL commander who's pretty popular. His name is Jocko Willink. And long and short of it is that extreme ownership. He even goes deep into the part where that it even seems on the surface like too much. Like, and the best example for on a day-to-day is like people will say, well, that I didn't do anything. Like, I did everything I could, let's say, and this person still treated me wrong. Or in a business scenario, it's like, well, I told that employee to do what they need. Like, I told them to do it. They didn't do it. What do you want me to do? That's not my fault. I'm not going to take accountability or responsibility for that.
Right.
Well, is that your employee? Mm-hmm. So it is your responsibility.
Yeah.
And is it your life? Well, then it is your responsibility. And to say otherwise is foolish. The great example, I think it's in that book, and if not, regardless, it's fantastic. An example about this. You know, the pictures of like storks bringing in babies. You know, like cranes of storks like flying in babies and wrappings and stuff, like in cartoons and stuff like that.
So I'm like, what?
You know what I'm talking about though? Like they
What have you
drop
been
off
smoking?
babies at people.
Yeah.
They drop off. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't happen to you ever. You don't just.
I mean,
No.
you know, you don't see a stork every day. Come on.
Oh, sorry, I thought I saw a
going
crane
on with
outside.
you?
Yeah, no, but like how storks drop babies off in cartoons and shit, right? So think about that. This is a hypothetical, obviously, but
You left off cartoons, so that's what
yeah, I guess
kept
I
me
should.
hanging.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, I'm trying
you're
to
like,
track with you here.
Wait, that isn't cartoons, right? Like, wait, does that happen for real? Because we need to do a different kind of episode here. But let's say hypothetically to do a thought experiment. Let's say you open your front door one morning and there's been a baby drop. Let's say it's not a stork, whatever. There's been a baby dropped off at your front porch. Now, we can sit here and argue all day long whether that's your fault or not, which it obviously isn't.
Right.
But what are you going to do? You going to step over the baby and go, that's not my fault?
Yeah.
It damn sure is your responsibility. It's on your doorstep.
Right.
It's on your doorstep.
Yeah.
And unknowingly, people every single day give up their power. And that's the other thing about being a victim that people don't realize, / also like with the accountability, you go, well, that seems really, like that's a great example. But like the other example you use seems unfair. Like that person is the one that did the wrong thing. It is the exact same example. That person did the wrong thing. The baby was dropped off. You didn't have shit to do with that.
Right. Well,
But you got to deal with it now.
It's about the effort that you put in. Like sometimes it's just easier to just.
Oh, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
It's so much easier.
So you're lazy.
So much easier. You can't stop and save every dog that you pass in the road whenever you're driving. However, the truth of the matter is that you were presented in that moment with an opportunity. Now, what you can or can't do about that is one thing. And it's not your fault that dog's out. But there could be an argument to be made that now that you've seen it, you should do something about it.
Right.
They say that evil is done because good men don't do anything about it. Not because of evil, right?
Yeah.
So
you're just blind to it
Yeah.
until you're not one day, and then
what the really important part about that is, and I think honestly that both in this conversation and in general, a lot, if not everything that you are talking about and have gone through comes back to a moment, a decision, a day, a month, whatever it was. But ultimately, you took full accountability for yourself. You're like, this is my life. This keeps happening over and over again. I'm not happy. I don't feel good. I'm lonely. All these different reasons. But ultimately, what you did was you said, I'm going to change this because it's my life. I only get one of them, and nobody's going to do it if I don't do it.
But that took me a long time. Like
100%,
I said,
100%.
There were a lot of factors, and you just,
But what
for
I'm saying
me,
is that was the big mindset change that you did.
I just got tired of feeling the way I felt.
And
I
having
was just
other
like,
people be able
can't.
to influence how you, again, and that's what I mean. You're by being a victim, not you in this anymore, in general, whenever you're playing that victim all the time, especially, you're constantly giving your power away to other people, constantly. Because basically what you're saying is, well, this is where I'm at in life, but, my parents kind of fucked me up, so, what am I supposed to do? It's like, okay, well,
Right.
good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah, well, you can.
And that doesn't mean you don't jump into those things. You have to jump into those things. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people will just say, yeah, my job sucks because my boss sucks. Get a different one. Yeah, but.
Yeah. They're just choosing. They want to be.
100%.
They want to be there, and that's
And that's what I mean
their
about,
prerogative until.
That's what I mean about everything. Is it seems unfair to take ownership of everything, but when you do, you realize you then have control. You then have an ability to influence everything versus saying like, I have no control over this. There's nothing I can do. Okay, well, great. Then why even try?
Right. Yeah, it's interesting.
So accountability
Life.
and ownership that's the biggest saying. I have one life, and it matters to me, and I want to do something with it. That's called ownership. That's called accountability. You could have said, this last situation happened, and God, I guess everybody's the worst, and this clearly has nothing to do with me. So, like, I'm just gonna hope that the next person's better. You could have said that.
I could have, and a lot of people do, and I feel bad for them because that's a sad way to go through life.
Yeah,
and
nothing I'm saying is trying to judge anybody that.
I know you're not trying to judge. I'm just saying I'm just saying that's a sad.
It is 100%.
That's a sad way of life to
1000%
to go through. It's God. You just don't. You want to feel better? Don't you want to figure yourself out? And some people don't. I'm just by nature. I'm a curious person. I want to know. I'm curious about what I'm curious about, though. I'm not going to sit here and say,
I 100% feel that.
I want to know how that iPhone works. I want to take it apart. I could care less about that, but I am curious about the human connection and the human
condition
form and the human condition. I eat that stuff up.
Yeah, same.
And even more now, it is. I'm just fascinated by it, and so.
Well, going back to the very beginning, is there anything more important? Whenever we talked about purpose of life and why are we here and what are you doing and what can I do to feel fulfilled? I mean, to be real, when we're talking about, well, should we be talking about this or, I need to be at a certain point before I tell somebody else. There is nothing more fruitful that you could talk about.
Everything starts to become unimportant.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Like, everything else seems like, but like.
And you get above it and you think, I don't know. Does this happen? Like, as you get older, it's just, does this happen? I don't know. I'm just speaking for me. But
like where you start to want to like care about that kind of thing?
Where you just are like, what is all this?
That's what
you start to like get out of your own head and just float above it and go, what is happening in the world?
I absolutely do think so. I think that there's a percentage of people that, like I said earlier, there's a large, in fact, there's a pretty good percentage of people, God bless them, who in their head, they know why they're here, they know where they're going to go afterwards, they know, etc. Or they believe what, and that's, again, I envy that. I'm not passing judgment on that at all. Then there's a whole other group of people that also just never thinks about it, whether that be through drug addiction, whether that be through.
So you're saying there's people that knew their purpose from the beginning, and they have walked in it. And
probably.
I'm saying that's true. There are, and I think that's a very small percentage.
It is.
The majority of the people are running around like chickens with their head cut off, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in this life. What am I doing? Why am I here? All these these questions.
And instead of dealing with that, wouldn't it be so much easier to just have a drink or to just,
Well, yeah, which is what people do.
That's my point. So you have an entire group.
It's a world of distractions.
You have one little group of people who feels like they know what their heaven looks like and what their God looks like and why they're here, and they're not really concerned with it because they have their answers. And that's why I brought up the religious thing. And that's not to judge at all. What I'm saying is that's beautiful. That's amazing. There's also another percentage of people that refuse to look at it. Probably a gigantic.
There's also people in the religious
portion.
Community that refuse to look at it, and they just rely on.
I'm talking about big scheme of things.
But,
Like people that believe for the right reasons, people that that are true. I'm talking about like the true pure form of it.
Right.
Trust me, I could also go on that all day. That's why, I said, I was raised in a Baptist church. Haven't been to church in a long time.
That's a whole nother one.
But the people that do it the right way, the people that truly believe via via the way that they believe, good intentions, good faith, that they were put here for X, Y, Z reason by God. When they die, they will go to heaven.
Yeah.
When they that everything that happens is truly in God's plan, and that allows them to let it go. To let it go. Whereas somebody that does not have that,
into flow,
you can't let it go.
Yeah.
Right? However, and we're tying a lot of different things together that we've talked about today. However, like for me, I think, and this is somewhat of a side note, but it goes back to what you were talking about with pain causing this, causing that, causing that, causing that. And then you kind of step back and you go, wait a second, this is crazy. As an adult, what has changed my view and made me more spiritual and stuff is because I've experienced things that do not make any sense otherwise. Like things could not have happened this way if it was random.
Yeah, hindsight.
Yeah, you're looking at it
like 2020. You can look back and go, "Wow, how did this?"
And sometimes in the moment, I just like whenever I look at something like that, for example, you think, "What? This makes no sense." Like it could. The only way I can put it is it could not have happened any other way than exactly how it happened. To me,
what couldn't have
whatever
happened?
it is, like for you, it's pain, right?
Oh, right.
Whatever that pain was, and then you went through 7 different gigantic revelations that you've made, right? But then you step back and you go, "Wait, that was caused by that."
Yeah.
And then that
well,
led to
I was just
that,
ready
and then
to
that
see
led
it.
to that, and then I met that person, and then I met that. Like,
Right.
how is this possible?
But it was possible because I was ready to confront it and to see it.
For sure.
And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it, and then I had to just step through my process. I had to go forward because what the hell would I be going backwards for? Why would I sit in this?
But it would have. It took the exact right mix of ingredients for you to hit that point.
Right.
Is my
I
point.
mean, everybody.
It actually would have been worse for you if the people you were with were just a little bit better. That actually would have been worse for you because you would have not hit that point. You would have just kept going forward. You needed it to get really, really bad.
Yeah, everybody's ingredients, everybody's recipe is different.
Yeah, 100%. And so what I'm talking about specifically to give like a super physical representation is I'm talking about the days that you're late for work and you're cussing at things and you're like, I needed to be there 30 minutes ago, and you're just super stressed out, and then you get in the car and there's a wreck.
Oh, right.
That just happened.
Yeah.
Those moments, look right here on my phone. Swear, I'm not just blowing smoke. Look, the background to my lock screen is it's like stars and like, it's like a cosmic looking thing, but it's a person tipping their cap.
Is it?
Yes.
Let me put my glasses on.
So this is the universe tipping its cap.
Wait.
You see the person behind the...
No.
Just...
What's wrong with me? Okay, hold on.
Okay,
I see it.
Yes.
I see it. Yeah, that's cool.
So, to me, those moments happen to people all the time.
Yeah.
Where the universe is tipping its hat. Like, it could not have happened any other way. Or a small detail that comes across your way that, like, is funny that, like, only you would appreciate. Or there's shit like that happens all the time.
Yeah, you just have to be aware of it.
People ignore it. Yes, they ignore it. They ignore it. And so, my point being is...
It's like karma, too, that, people can ignore. I don't know. This is a whole other thing with cause and effect. And anyway, go ahead.
But
you can edit that out.
But those are the kind of things that you have to pay attention to because that's what leads you to the place that you're at. Is my point. These things all have to happen. You can't go from A to Z. You just cannot. You have to be at K as well. Mm-hmm. And when you're at K, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck am I doing? I'm trying to get to Z."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to look back on it after the fact and see the way that things play out leads me to believe that they had to play out that way. And so...
it did. It felt very... my situation felt very divinely orchestrated. It felt... It was... That's how it was supposed to happen.
You
I
know-
didn't see that. Like I said, I didn't see that
at
in the
time.
moment
Yeah, of course not.
at all.
Of course
all
not.
I saw was pain.
Yeah, have you ever heard the story
now all
about
I'm
the?
doing is trying to get this cat hair out of my eye. Sorry.
Have you ever heard the story about the 3 boats that God sends to save the guy who's drowning? There's a story. I want to say it's in the Bible, but I don't know. I've heard it forever though. But there's a guy that's swimming, and a boat comes by or a guy that's drowning, and a boat comes by and offers him to get in the boat, and he says, "No, thank you, God will save me." And then a second boat comes
Oh yeah.
and says,
I've
"Do you
heard
want to get in the
this.
boat?" And he goes, "No, thank you, God will save me." And then a third boat, etc. So then whenever he dies, he gets to heaven. He says, "I thought you were going to save me." And he says, "I sent you 3 boats." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
so-
you have to be aware.
so, exactly. So you should take a great deal of pride in even the simple step of being aware.
Yeah.
That's the first step always. So
Thank you. Awareness.
yes, awareness is always the first step.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, I have another quote before we. I feel like we're wrapping up.
We are.
But I like this quote too. Hold on. Hold please. Let's put my glasses on. It's don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss it. You know who said that?
Mark Manson.
Einstein.
Einstein. Interesting.
Yeah.
The reason why I said Mark Manson is he has a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah.
And
I've read that. I think.
he talks about that, about how pursuing something that you don't have is inherently a negative experience.
Yeah, which is what I've done all my life. I've tried, you just try.
And then as soon as you stop,
try to make it a target.
Isn't that
try
weird?
to
As
make
soon
it a
as you
target.
stop,
Yeah,
it comes.
It just happens.
As soon as you stop.
It's like through my whole life, like God. What
And
am
that's why
supposed to do?
I
What
always
am
come back to balance, because you can't do nothing. But at the same time, as soon as you stop trying, it comes. You know what I mean? It's infuriating sometimes.
It's a mystery. So
As are most things, which is why we're talking about them. I think that's a great way to.
yes, I feel like we don't need a lightning round on this.
We've done ours before, anyways. I guess.
Yeah.
We did one with each other.
There's always questions. There's always pet peeves.
Of course.
Every time I'm in the car, I have a pet peeve. Every time.
You know what
But-
my pet peeve is whenever you're too hard on yourself.
That's
Oh, I know.
corny.
Isn't that annoying? Because now whenever you say that, I'm like, Meredith, I told you that's my pet peeve. Stop doing that.
stupid. I'm not that hard on myself
You're
anymore.
very hard
I
on
feel pretty
yourself.
good about myself.
No, you're doing amazing.
Thanks.
You're doing amazing. Thank you.
For your age, dude,
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
mean,
appreciate
you're
it.
like-
It's the trauma.
it's what?
It's the trauma. Just kidding.
You're an old soul
That is
in a Tennessee hat.
That is also very true. That is also very true. Well, close us out. Tell them what they should do, and where to find you and whatnot.
You can go to the
If you're
Instagram.
watching on YouTube,
If you're watching on YouTube, yes, go to YouTube, go to Spotify, go to the Instagram handle, which is BTBSOP. We should have made that easier.
I like it.
I was thinking we should have done BTB people or something like that, but whatever. It is what it is. That's what it is
I just
now.
like it because it's a unique, like it's a full,
Figure it
it's a
out.
whole acronym for the show.
Yeah.
But yes, if you're on YouTube, subscribe.
Go ahead.
Turn your post notifications on.
He's doing it.
Subscribe. Turn your post notifications on. Share it with somebody who may enjoy it. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Okay, bye.